they're working on a fix for that. They're working on a fix for this. They're making a new button you can click to clear all of the stuff.
Hello, this is the Computer Freak, and how are you all doing today? We are we are live today. Actually, we're just gonna be able to do motivational Mondays like we've always been doing, and we have a special guest here, ULZx Shadow. How do you pronounce that?
That's exactly what it is. It's ULZx Shadow, but you can just go with Shadow for ease sake.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you decide to accept my invite to stream today, with me here tonight?
Well, when somebody asks me to do something, it makes me think that they came to me for a reason, that they had, gone through a list of people and picked me as the person they wanted to talk to. So I think that it's an honor and it's cool that people think of me as, someone they can come talk to and, have these kinds of talks with each other.
Mhm. Okay. All right. And just to let you guys know that if you guys have any questions here tonight, is you can ask away. We'll be able to help answer any questions here tonight, and be able to, because it's all about, answering people's questions. It's all about you, right? So I do have a question. You're talking about, we have this mantra, perfect vision, right? 2020 perfect vision. When you have like when you like I put in contacts or glasses, and then I could see 2020, right? But we have they had this weird thing like, oh, it's 2020, it's a new year, you got new goals and stuff like that, right? And so let me ask, talk about new goals. What type of new goals do you have for the year that's not related to New Year's thing? They have those things like saying, oh, my New Year's thing, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they decide after a few weeks they end it all and everything, and they just stop doing that, doing those goals, and they just stop it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's see here. So I've got a couple of them, most of them are just work related. Since I am active duty, I just finished a military school that helps me progress my career, lets me get promoted,
Hmm.
and then it's a stepping stone for another school that I'm going to be going to here soon to become a drill sergeant, and that's one of my goals is to pass that school, move on, and get to my new job. You know, And another goal, that I have throughout the year is just start college, start doing some stuff on that because I keep putting it off and I need to get some college done.
Yeah. They say, I've dealt with procrastination a lot in my life, where I was able to say, hey, I'm gonna go get these goals done. I'm gonna go get those goals done. And when I go and I just decide, oh, I had distractions and I have all this stuff that's happening in my life. I'm gonna just go for those distractions and just be able to be distracted pretty much. So, how would you deal with procrastination? And before we go on, hey, how you doing? Not your mother streamer, Eddie, how you doing? And Zibertech, how are you doing? So, let's continue.
So procrastination, I feel that the way for procrastination for me, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as a oh hey, it's a type of mindset in my opinion because procrastination is good at some points, but it's bad at other points because if you just procrastinate constantly, you'll never get anything done.
Hmm.
But I always say if you procrastinate, but you still get stuff done, that's the reason you can procrastinate. If you procrastinate and fail to get stuff done, then you should probably not stop thinking about procrastinating so much and start doing work.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, procrastination. Yeah, like you said, in my thing, like, when you're procrastinating, there's always a time, when you can procrastinate, because a lot of people get too busy, you know, doing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do this, and they like go throughout their whole days, and they're just too much, you know, and then they don't like do any. They don't enjoy their time, like day after night after work, 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 and so when you're being like you're just saying like, oh, it's always good to slow down, right? It's
Yeah.
always good to like enjoy the things that you like to enjoy in life and be able to sit back and chill out,
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you just work, 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 it's you get burnt out. That's kind of how I've been feeling because I just was gone for 5 weeks, just working constantly, not really having a ability to take time off and step back away from work. Whereas
Mm,
now that I'm back, I've taken a couple days off. I've been able to rest. And, I still don't want to go back to work, but I have to go back to work tomorrow and I'm ready for it
right.
because I was able to take that time off and do what I wanted to do, play some games, stream for a couple hours, all that stuff.
Mm. So we got a comment that says uh, that he hasn't shaved in for a week, but it
If
looks
I
like
could
you.
just not shave ever, I would be completely okay with that. But I have to shave every day. So I use the weekends to let my skin heal from shaving every day
Mm.
because for the military, you have to go to work clean shaven every day, no matter what.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's a hassle. So I use the weekend as a rest period, so I'm not just constantly cutting up my face,
Mhm.
getting a clean shave.
Mhm. Yeah. I like to go a few days without shaving and stuff like that. But then I was like, oh, I gotta shave. I gotta make more of a habit to shave more. But Zibertech saying shaving a beard is like a lion without a mane.
Absolutely, I that's how I feel. I don't like not having some form of facial hair because it makes me look like I'm 12 with a clean shaven face, and I don't like it.
Yeah. So talking about this military, you said you wanted to be a drill sergeant. Why?
Well, at first it wasn't that I wanted to. At first it was the military said, "Hey, you're going to go be a drill sergeant whether you like it or not." And then I got into the mindset of if I just do it, I can get it done. And then I sat and I started thinking about it more and more. And the way it's going to play out for my career, it means I'll get promoted higher, faster. Uh, I I can do better things to shape the military because I'll be a direct influence on the new people coming in.
Mm.
So if I feel they're not ready, I could just say, "Hey, you're not good enough," and kick them out
Yeah.
before it gets to the actual military and causes problems for them because being in the military at a regular unit, which is where we work, I don't think I can. I don't want to demonstrate some yelling. Um, oh, that's easy. Just watch me play some COD. There's some streams where I'm yelling, and you'll see it. But no, yeah, if it's kind of late here, and my wife is tired from work, and she's right behind me playing Call of Duty, and if I just started yelling, she'll come over and slap me. So
Yeah.
yeah, and as also be wanting to be a drill sergeant is I tend to be an angry person. Like I have lots of anger issues, pent up rage and aggression, and yelling. I think is making. I don't know. It sounds bad, but making the new recruits' lives miserable is going to be probably a good stress for me when you think about it. But it's not always just going to be, I'm just going to destroy these guys. Because that's what basic is. You got to break them down to their roots and build them back up.
Right.
So, You break them down and then you build them up. I've got 9 years of experience in the active duty military. I've been to combat, I've only been to combat one time, but I've been on multiple deployments, different countries. So I know my share of information, of tactics, and what to do, what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good way to pass on knowledge to the new generation of soldiers.
Mm. Is there a scenario where your anger or whatnot has gone too far?
Yeah, there is. This back, it was, I don't remember the year, but it was when the Division first came out, and I was playing with myself and my wife and a couple other friends, and we were in the dark zone, and we were just running into these toxic players that just focused on killing each other and us instead of doing the stuff in the dark zone. And I got to the point where I got so frustrated and angry that I broke my desk, I broke my computer,
Mm-hmm.
and I almost put a hole in the wall, like a monitor-sized hole. So, but luckily the computer, it was just the case that broke, so it was still a working
Mm-hmm.
computer. I was able to repair my desk 'cause I have some building knowledge. So I put my desk back together. I turned the computer off, let it sit for a couple hours. We got back on, played just a soothing, simple game that I use relax. It, for me, if I get angry to that point, I
Mm-hmm.
just got to take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and change games.
Right.
There's certain games that I just love playing. They calm me down, and it really helps. Like Midwest. Midwest is a great escape.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. I
Yeah.
I love that community. I've been in that community almost 2 years. April will be my 2 years for Midwest. I've been in that community for so long. It's grown fond of it, made friends, family, and they're a great place to just relax.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, and about Midwest RP, that's a community that we're both in. It's just a great community where you can like role play with people on GTA 5 and just like there's like pretty much any type of character that you want to role play, pretty much. But pretty much like that's just like there's just it's a lot of fun being able to create a ton of different scenes and build your backstory of your characters. But also, it goes beyond that. The Midwest has a ton of people that focus on building leadership, building people to become leaders in real life, and that's why I've found in that it's just like there's specific structures and people that are like you know we want to help you, we want to help like people. So like how did you join Midwest RP, and what how did you become a leader of Midwest RP that you are today?
So I joined Midwest RP because I I was watching a buddy of mine stream it back 2018. He was a sheriff's deputy, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what's this? I've never heard of it. I don't know what this is." And he explained it to me. And I was like, "Wow, that sounds really cool." So I looked it up, did some research on it, and I applied and I got in, and I started playing it, and I applied and started off in the sheriff's department. I made it to a COC position in the sheriff's department, but I stagnated.
Mm-hmm.
The higher leadership just didn't see the fact that I was in the military, so I couldn't meet their expectations of wanting me to be constantly around,
Mm-hmm.
even though I told them, hey, I'm active duty military. I'm going to be gone for a couple times, sometimes for a couple of weeks here and there. Like, oh, okay. So I got to corporal, and then I just sat there for 2 to 3 months. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
by that time, my friend Drifter, who is William C, he's actually a developer in Midwest now, uh,
Hmm.
switched over to PD because he was offered the assistant chief of police position, and I transferred over to them because I wanted some change of scenery and different COC, see how it would work.
Mhm.
I got up there. Will left for a little bit. I stayed in. I was to the point where I was bored. It wasn't exciting to me anymore.
Mhm.
And I was going to just retire out of Midwest. And that's when Miguel, my other friend that I had gotten to join in Highway,
Mhm.
was like, hey, I know you're going to quit. I know you want to I know you're bored. I know you don't like what's happening with your department and how you're just sitting where you're at. Join Highway, transfer to Highway, see how it goes. And if you don't
Mhm.
like it, stay. It took about a week and a half of deliberation on my end to think about it because it was a third time starting over. And I'd
Mhm.
put in a lot of work.
Right.
So, I decided, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I transferred and I found the home that I was looking for in Midwest.
Mhm.
Great department, amazing COC when I was coming through the ranks, real helpful. I got to corporal in like 2 to 3 months. I made it to sergeant less than a month after that.
Mhm.
And then after that, I jumped straight to staff sergeant. And then from staff sergeant, I jumped to master sergeant and made it to lieutenant.
Mhm.
And then from lieutenant, I made it to major. And then from major, I just got recently promoted to the commander, which is the number 4 position in the department, which is mind blowing to me. It's amazing that I was
Yeah.
able to get to where I'm at.
Mhm.
So, but I like being a leadership position in Midwest, even just as a corporal. Even
Mhm.
uh, this is the GTA. This is the GTA stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, even just being a corporal, and even before that, even before the being a COC, senior non COC guy, you know the stuff. You can show these new dudes around, get them the knowledge they need about how to do things properly and not ease all that. That's one thing I enjoy about being a COC is I can mentor people. People come to me, I ask questions. Enjoy
Mhm.
teaching people.
Mhm. Okay. That's cool. I think we're let's curve the conversation. I know that these people are talking about different like games that were pretty much they're talking about Super Smash Brothers. Have you played that?
The last one I've like played at any length of time was Melee on the GameCube. I want to say it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I loved it. I love that game. It's my
Yeah.
favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed Melee, and I enjoyed the next one up. I forget what that one was. Brawl. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really play that one.
Mm. Yeah.
I got out of fighting games. I
Yeah.
was never really a fan of like the one-on-one fighting games, but
Did they
party
get
games are good.
Did they get you mad or what?
So it's not that they got me mad because that I understood that there was different levels of different play styles, different characters, different weaknesses.
Mm.
So whenever I would lose, I'd just look at how my friend beat me with that character and develop a way to play combat against it with the character.
Mm. Okay. What about League of Legends?
Never played it.
No. Okay.
Never played it. Not a lane, or what are they called? MOBA games. Not a MOBA game guy.
Okay. Have you played any similar ones to League of Legends?
Nothing nothing that jumps out to me. I
Mm.
think I don't think I've really played any like lane hero type games like that.
Mm. Okay. Or is there any specific games that you really loved that actually helped you in real life?
Absolutely. I have them on my arm.
You have them in your arm? Okay.
Yeah. Super Mario helped me out when I was growing up. Metroid. I've got Legend of Zelda tattooed.
Okay.
Le-
Wow.
Legend of Zelda is my game. It's what I would play whenever I'd have a bad day. I'd
Okay.
just come home and I'd just start playing Legend of Zelda, and
Huh.
I would just melt away from the world. All my worries, anger would just wash out of the limbs, and I'm just playing Zelda, playing Legend of Zelda.
Huh.
I never got angry at the game. It was my escape from the world
Mhm.
growing up, because growing up I had ADHD, so it was a little difficult for me in school. But that I want to say that was the start of where Super Mario was definitely the start of where I found video games as a stress reliever and a escape for the some problems,
Mhm.
to calm the mind.
Okay. And may I ask what problems you were escaping from?
Uh, so, the usual stuff, bullies in school, sibling fight, that kind of stuff. I
Mhm.
didn't have, I didn't have the most sheltered childhood. I didn't have the most open childhood. So, you know, I I was an average kid. I didn't make a lot of friends because people thought I was weird,
Mhm.
which is fine with me. I never liked crowds growing up. Didn't like big groups of people.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Yeah, when I was growing up, I was actually born with Asperger's syndrome disorder, and that's
hmm
if people don't know about that, it's related to autism, and
yeah.
so that's what I had growing up. Even though I grew up in a Christian household, I was an extremely rebellious kid up till maybe up till like I was in my 20s, and where I was able to say, you know what, I just I give up, and well, I surrendered my life to the Lord, but became like a good Christian. But anyways, what happened was I went at the age of 12 years old. I started stealing a lot. I stole a lot of computer
Oh
games.
yeah.
You know, I stole a lot of computer games, and I told my parents, "Oh, I got them from my friend," and they believed me, right? And that's the time where I went to a a place and attempted to steal money from this life
Mm,
storage place. And
yeah.
well, nothing really happened. I just walked out, and because he said he was going to call the cops, and I went to the police station. They sent me to the hospital. But like but like and there's this lady that came in, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you're something wrong with you. I'm gonna send you to a behavioral center, right?" And like I went there, and pretty much well, she said my group will cover it. It would cost $12,000 a week,
A
and
week.
yeah. And she said
Wow.
the group will be able to cover it. I was there for 2 weeks. They diagnosed me with Asperger's, you know, and
Yeah.
after that, it was just like, you know, I I went to church and gave myself to the Lord at 12, right? But it went downhill from there. I started a pornography addiction at 12 years old. I started a gaming addiction at 12 years old. I gamed as much as I could, and all this pornography, all this gaming stuff was like consumed my life, Even though I was going to school, even though I was doing all that stuff, it consumed my life. And just being
Yeah.
yeah, and just like and all the way up to like giving so much problems to my parents, and I moved out. I was like, I don't want to be near my parents, right? But like uh I actually joined I joined a gang, actually.
Hmm.
and it was a startup gang, not a huge gang, known gang, but like pretty much it was like a clique slash gang thing, and I was involved in a legal activity, you know, and I went to my best friend died, like committed suicide while I was addicted to my screen. And
Yeah, I know how that is.
mhm.
I had
Yeah.
that. I know exactly how that is.
Mhm. And all that stuff, all this deep depression that I had, I all this stuff that I had, I was like putting all this weight on my back. I was like, I can't, I'm trying to get places, I'm trying to do stuff, but like all this weight was on my back, right? And all this stress and all this fear that was controlling my mind and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? I just surrender, I just give up my life, and that's when I surrendered my life to the Lord. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know exactly what it's like to have friends take their life.
yeah.
It's it's not something that's easy ever. I have more friends that I'd like to count taken.
Mhm.
That's why I wear these. So
Oh
I never
wow.
forget. And my most recent one was my one of my best friends in the day after Christmas found out. And it was terrible. I don't I don't process emotions well.
Mhm.
So when I lost my grandpa, I don't and he helped raise me. I looked up to him. He was a big influence in my life. When he died, I didn't cry.
Mhm.
Friends, when I've lost my friends, I haven't cried for them.
Mhm.
I don't process emotions properly. It's hard,
Hmm.
but I talk to people. I don't just keep it bottled up. People know that I will go to them if I ever have the thoughts that could lead me to a dark path,
Mhm.
and it's hard. It's tough.
Hmm.
Just knowing that at any time your friend could just not show up to work the next day and you could not figure out anything why
Hmm.
because you were talking to him the day before and he was happy, he was fine, he had no signs of it,
Mhm.
and then you find out that the next day your other friend calls you from across the country and says, "Hey, did you hear about this?" And you go, "No, what happened?" And then all of a sudden you just start getting all these phone calls from all these other people that you know that were also friends.
Hmm.
"Hey, did you hear? Hey, did you hear? Were you there? What happened?"
Mhm.
Hard. A lot process.
Mhm. You know, when I was like in my like I don't know, I think it was like 19 or 20. I was just like I remember like something like I was on like had Facebook, I was on playing this game whatever, right? And and received a message like from this random person I didn't know about, right? And he's just like, "Hey, this is my friend. This is Ben's youth pastor. Can I give you a call?" And I was like, "Whoa, that's weird." I was like, "Something. What? Why does he want to give me a call?" I was like, "Sure, right?" And he gives me a call and he tells me what happened. It was just totally stunned me. I remember like, yeah, I was just totally stunned by what happened. I didn't cry or anything. I was just like, wait, what? What just
Yeah.
happened? You know? And right before that day, my friend, he was telling me, hey, I'm gonna bike to the Chicago, and it was like really far bike ride. I was like, hey, that's cool. Maybe I'll join you sometime. I was thinking about it, but he just told me that I'm gonna do this something wild for him. A little bit wild. And I was like, "Oh wow, that's really far. I never really noticed that you would bike there." But but pretty much like I knew that there's like hints, but I was like felt like, hey, there's I didn't catch them because I was felt like but I knew it wasn't like my fault that he committed suicide, but like pretty much after that, there's the shock that got me, and it like there was a funeral, and I was like, you know what? Oh no, he this happened, right? And like, let's get in the games and hide from my emotions. Continue games to hide my emotions like I always do, right? And I just went to the funeral, and it was just like I went throughout the whole funeral, no emotions, you know. And we went to the burial site, and after everyone was leaving, the family was like the inner family, so his sisters was there and his dad, right? And then I just like started crying so much, and I just couldn't like couldn't stop, and it just impacted me so much, just being able to like have a friend, hey, he took his life, and it was, he shouldn't have done that, you know
Exactly. Yeah.
and it's just like all that stuff that this stuff that happens in life, all these events, they like even though they like tear us, they like think, oh, we're gonna like all these stuff is impacting us so much. There's a way where it can be able to build us up again, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
So
because if you
yeah.
can overpower through the downs of your life, you will come out strong, a better person, more
Mm,
knowledge. So that way, when you see the signs, you can jump on it and
mm,
hopefully not let it happen again.
mm-hmm. Hmm. And so, in what ways has it built you up? These rough situations.
Well, it's built me up to know to not let my emotions dictate how I feel about. I know it may seem wrong, but it takes a long time for me to trust people more than them and
Mm,
let them know anything about me, really.
mm,
So because I just couldn't keep handling being close to somebody and then them being gone. Because growing up I didn't have a lot of it was weird.
hmm,
So when I got out of high school and I started doing stuff on my own, being out of the house with the parents, living on my own, being in the military, I still didn't grasp fully like these people aren't actually trying to be your friends. They're just going through the motions of life and then
mm,
find the ones that, hey, I actually want to be your friend. That's
mm,
how you got to figure it out.
mm. So, so how many like really really close friends, died that were very close to you? More than five?
Or at 9.
9? Oh wow.
And that's just the really close, really, really close ones. And if we go with people that I just knew from work, that I, worked with them for a couple year or more, it's up into the double digit.
Oh wow. We can all say this from experience. How the responsibility when someone takes their life. We cannot. Oh, yeah. You can only do your best to help people and treat people with kindness.
Exactly. That's another one of my really close friends, Eaton. He's also in the military, so I go to him for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff. He's helped me out.
Mm-hmm. So, do you feel like, so if you had that many that, died, do you feel like you don't, have you ever had at a certain point that you felt like, oh, I don't want to be near people that I truly care for because something bad might happen to them?
I've had that thought. I have. Then I realized that it's something that I can control. I just got to be there for them as much as I can. We rely on each other. Make them know that if they have an issue, they can always come talk to me.
Mm.
And I just can't just let the burden of them taking their life weigh you down.
Mm.
If it happens, you just gotta learn from it, mourn them, you memorialize them if they were a good enough friend, a good enough person, and move
Mm.
on.
Right.
Keep living life.
Mm. Thanks for the follow, Miss Faith XO.
That's
So,
my wife.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice. We got support, full support from them. Yes. Yes. All right. So, okay. So, hmm. Oh, she's commenting too. As in, okay. So, hmm. So thinking about mental illness, right? You said you had ADHD your entire
hmm
life, right? Or you had it in the first half of your life, or how many
Well,
years?
so I grew up taking medication for it, and then at one point when I was growing up, I think I was 11 or 12, I just stopped taking the medication
Mm,
because I didn't want it to control my life.
mm,
That medication relying on it, so I started making the conscious decision to control my, mental illness all on my own.
mm,
And it took about 4 years before I had a good grasp on it to
mm,
know what it was what was causing it, how it was affecting my school life, affecting my personal life.
mm,
And now I can say I don't think I have it anymore,
mm,
but I don't know if that's how it works because I don't think ADHD is something that just goes away, but I haven't had to take any medication for it for over almost 20 almost 20 years now.
mm.
So, I mean, it's all just mental for that. Everything is a big mental game. It's always you're fighting with yourself.
Right. So when I grew up, half my school was on some kind of medicine. Doctors were overprescribing them.
Yeah, was a big issue in the mid 90s and the late 80s, early 90s when I was growing up. I was a 90s baby. So I was
Mm,
growing up, mid to late 90s. I was taking this stuff.
mm,
That's what it seemed like. I look around in elementary school and all the teachers would, you'd have the kids line up because sometimes the medicine you'd have to take it twice a day and they would take it at lunch and there was just a lot. There's just so many.
oh
And
wow.
I didn't think about it at the time because I was like, "Oh, they're just, they're sick like me." And
Mm,
now that I think about it, it's like a lot of people just went and said, "Hey, diagnose him with ADHD so we can give him this medicine that keeps him calm,
mm.
deal with it,"
Right.
instead of letting the child grow and prosper and, promoting a good mental mindset for the child.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, I've heard that like a lot. Like I've like read stories or different things about you know a nurse's station. There's a desk in the hall, like literally pointed toward the hallway. And some of these stories are different things. It's been a while since so I can't really tell. I've forgotten a lot about that stuff, but yeah, the people like lying up. Arthur is one of the examples actually. You know, there was some hints toward that too. Um, in some of the and only a few episodes. So, have you ever watched Arthur?
The TV show,
Yeah.
I love that show.
Mm,
Great, and it has a subtle hint of the stuff that people go through their mind.
right. Hmm. So, yeah, kids are supposed to have lots of energy. Being able to develop their life and being able to go. When I was a kid, actually, I was my mom took me to since because I was not diagnosed with Asperger's since I was 12 years old. My mom took me to so many different doctors. And they diagnosed me with every single type of illness except for autism or Asperger's.
Hmm.
You know, and I took all sorts of medications. Some that made me more wild than what I was. Some that not stuff that didn't really help me out. You know, and even I used to have epilepsy, which I no longer have. According to tests and everything, I no longer take pills for seizures, which is awesome. But
Yeah,
like, but like, being able to like, as a teenager, I took the wrong I was given the wrong prescription, and it caused another type of seizure that I had. And I remember that. And it's just like some of the stuff, when it comes to being able to deal with like mental illnesses and prescriptions and stuff like that. That's why I say do your research. Be careful about it, right? Do you really have to take this medication? Will it help you more than will it hurt to you?
absolutely. You don't see it as much anymore, but there's not a lot of misdiagnosing anymore. It's
Hmm.
that parents still do it from time to time, but it's nice because it seems like the doctors are picking up on the fact that these parents just want their child to be lethargic and not cause problems, which
Mm.
is not something that you should do.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. So do you remember a lot about your the ADHD when you were taking your medicine, or was it a misdiagnosis, or what?
So I don't really remember because my memory isn't very good because of reasons overseas. Um, so I don't really remember much of my childhood, like everything from like probably 12 and back is just a blur. I don't remember.
Mm.
I know where I grew up. I remember big ticket items like my schools,
Mm.
but I don't remember experiences that I had while I was growing up.
Mm. It's pretty much like 20 years from now you'll be like, oh, I can't remember a whole lot that happened in
Yeah,
my life.
absolutely. I mean, I sometimes I have trouble forgetting what I said 20 minutes ago or even what I did yesterday,
Hmm.
it's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
The brain is a finicky item.
Yeah. There's this type of the brain where it like it actively destroys thoughts. Actively does it. And so any thought that comes in, even things that you want to remember, it
Mm-hmm.
just actively it does it auto
Centric.
process. Oh, let me just get rid of that. Get rid of that. I don't care if it's important or not. That's why being able to like if you want to like be able to really hone down and really find out, oh, I really need to remember that. Like being
Yeah.
able to like study things, but there could be different situations in life where all of a sudden it's such a culminating situation or scenario that you're in that you will always be able to remember it, you know, whether it's good or bad, right?
Yep.
You sometimes forget things you said. Oh, is that why you did a double quote comment thing because you forgot to put it down? Oh, but pretty much like, what about like, if you're in the military, there's things like trauma and PTSD, but like pretty much it doesn't even have to involve the military.
Mm-hmm.
You could have trauma and not be in the military, and you could go out through your entire life and have traumatizing events. So how do you work against being traumatized or having PTSD?
Well, I personally haven't actually been diagnosed with any disorder, syndrome, whatever you want to call it. But I feel that being able to work through the traumatic event, because like you said, it doesn't have to be a military related thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of thousands, if not hundreds of millions, things that can cause a traumatic event for someone. Like a paramedic seeing a child's, stillbirth cause a traumatic event,
Mm-hmm.
leads PT. But in my opinion, it's all about talking, all about working through it,
Mm-hmm.
not holding it into your, not just burying it deep and letting it sit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just bury it deep and let it sit, it'll just fester and get worse and worse, worse, and eat at
Hmm.
you until you're just a shell of the person that you were,
Mm-hmm.
constantly worried about this traumatic event that you don't want to get reminded of.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get reminded of it, you just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you work through it, talk with people, and figure out what causes these events, what triggered it, what was the base event that started this, if you can figure that out and work through it, talk to people, it will help immensely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I personally don't think I would still be here if I didn't talk to my wife
Hmm.
or my friend about some of the stuff that I've had to go through.
Hmm. Okay. Wow. It says unfortunately most of the world doesn't care if you have issues or not. They expect you to act a certain way, and if you don't, you're considered a problem. What do you have to say about that?
I completely agree. The
Mm-hmm.
world is now just to the point where it's trying to get its status quo.
Mm-hmm.
It just wants to be a smooth machine, but the leaders don't realize that that's not possible with, human beings as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be something. There's always going to be issues. Even they could be big issues, they could be little issues, and that's something that we need to start getting the mindset of is you are not a problem if you are different.
Mm-hmm.
You have issues, you are not a problem. That you need to start we need to start giving that mindset of making people understand that you can work through things. You don't need to just be shunned off and shunned by society.
Mm.
It's just like how the whole taboo of men seeking psychiatric help,
Mm.
therapists, grow, back then in the 50s and 60s and the 70s, if you were a male and you went and talked to a therapist, you were looked down upon.
Hmm.
You were thought of as weak.
Hmm.
And now it's just, it's just, and it just turned into a stigma that, men can't be anything but this strong pillar for everyone to rely on.
Hmm.
Whereas you need to
Mm.
talking to someone is not a sign of weak.
Right. Right. And it's also like, you know, real men don't cry. Or real men cry, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that statement?
Well, everybody processes emotions differently. Like I said, I don't really cry, but I just think that's the way I am. I've been through events where I have cried,
Mm.
but I don't overly cry. But if you cry and you accept that fact that you can cry
Mm.
and you don't force yourself, say you have an event that happens, and you don't force yourself to not cry during the event, even though you feel you need to,
Mm.
and you just cry,
Mm.
you are stronger for it.
Hmm. Hmm. So what about oh yes, as Eddie says, I had a bit of PTSD after riding a roller coaster, but thankfully that's gone. You know. So and what are you saying? The Joker movie brought attention to that. Like, so you had a flashback due to a traumatic event in the past. So talking about that, have you ever had any like even though you got over some things in your life that were traumatic, right? Were there any like new events that came up that triggered them, and then they went away? You know, like thoughts that came that flashbacks to those.
Oh, absolutely. Um, it's maybe a stigma. People don't like it, but when I hear the Islamic call to prayer, I get chills no matter what, every time.
Mm.
Because when I was overseas, that's when they would rocket and mortar the base and attack, is right after call to prayer,
Hmm.
is when it would happen. Whenever my son, he has balloons, he likes to pop them at random times,
Hmm.
and I don't realize it, and I hear that pop, it sounds like a gunshot,
Hmm.
and I'll still like I'll jump, my heart rate will shoot right up.
Hmm.
I'll stop talking because I'll get back into that. Oh, I'm in contact. I got to shoot back. That
Hmm.
mindset, and I look around and realize what's going on. I've even had points where I've almost punched my wife in bed because I was asleep having a bad dream, and she shook me awake, and I thought it was a bad guy trying to slit my throat. So I
Oh
just
wow.
threw a so I just threw a punch and almost hit her because of it. And
Hmm.
then, I realized where I'm at in the situation that I'm in, and stop.
Hmm.
So, it's not something that just stays away, but if you can work through it and you understand what it is and how it happens and why it happens,
Hmm.
it won't control you.
Hmm. Zertex, I may or may not cry, but I would never let people see that.
And that's how some people are. Some
Yeah.
people don't like to let people see them cry.
Hmm.
It's it's a subconscious thing in your brain that your brain views it as a weakness to let other people see you cry, or some other form of emotion.
Hmm.
So
So.
crying in front of people is just something that some people can do, some people can't.
Hmm. Right. Hmm. What? Okay. So another thing that the talking about, when you have people that were in your life, you talked with different people to get over some traumatic events or some scary stuff that happens in all of our lives, right? But like what, it's always good to be able to, find people that that really can help us, cares for us, finding people say, oh, like, especially like when you're like being able to like grow and you want to grow in a certain direction, you find people that have those specific interests, being able to have those people care for you and have interests that you really want to get into can have an extremely positive effect, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If you see somebody that's doing something that you would find interesting and you start talking to them and getting to know them and understanding things of what you want to learn about, and they start teaching you, and you start picking up habits that they have and helping you work through this point in your life where you are just looking for an escape.
Mm.
And it's it's a good way. It's awesome
Hmm.
because you can it can get you out of a dark hole really quickly, finding
Mm.
somebody that just cares just a little bit, just cares just enough to make sure that you are learning this new thing that you want to put yourself through, that because they could see that you're going through some stuff and they want to make sure that you're okay.
Right. Yeah. Um. Well, it's one of those things where if you have people look up to you, you kind of have to keep up appearances that you are some unshakable pillar, not so much for self-gratifying
Machismo.
machismo. Yeah, it's kind of like you feel like you have like, you know, oh no, I can't, I got people that, I care for. I gotta make sure at like when I'm in front of them, I'm always perfect, you know. I can't, you're just you got people you could have on your you could be like, hey, no, I gotta be perfect. I can't allow them to notice me when I'm falling, And what do you think about that?
I don't think that's a good way to live your mental health life, because even now I'm I'm in charge of people and they look up to me, and that's something you got to teach them early on, is that it's okay to fall,
Mm,
to break down,
mm,
to fail at things, to not that's part of learning and growing, is learning from your mistake,
mm,
figuring out your own path of how it failed, why it failed, what made it fail.
mm,
If you can make them understand that even though you are an unshakable pillar in their mind, they know that you are still a human being,
mm,
because you don't want them to think of you as some machine, because you're
mm,
not. You
mm,
can't constantly always keep up this mindset of I'm a machine, there's nothing wrong with me ever, I'm perfect.
mm.
It's just not possible.
Yeah, and they say like action speaks louder than words. So do you like just tell them through words, or how do you show them through action?
So through yes, actions definitely do speak louder than words, because I
Because
have a
you have a lot of people that like say, oh, that person's a fake. I don't.
yeah.
He says all this stuff, words and blah blah blah. But like, huh? What his action doesn't speak up to his words. I don't really want to follow that person.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure you show your subordinates, people that look up to you, that you will act on the words that you say. You say you do something, you say you're going to do something for them, and they ask of you, and you do it.
Mm,
You don't question it, you just do it. It's
mm,
because where my position in the military, I'm a squad leader. That means I have 8 people underneath me at all times, directly beneath me. So when we go to, when it's Friday and we're getting ready to go out for the weekend, we have to give, little talks. And I say, if you get into trouble, call me. I will pick you up.
hmm.
I've had I've had people call me. I've
Hmm.
gone and picked them up
Hmm.
to keep them from doing the wrong thing.
Hmm.
And that is gained the trust of my subordinates
Mm.
as well as my peers and superiors. They see that I say something and I mean it when I say it.
And respect too.
Absolutely, yes.
You know, they say, hey, you know, this guy's actually coming and helped me in my situation. This guy really cares about me, you know. Being so that's powerful, man. And you could still be a support to others, even if you are shook up, because you can understand how they feel, because you yourself have experienced those feelings. Hmm.
Absolutely. First-hand experiences is the best way to get somebody through a problem. There's there's still been problems that my subordinates have brought to me that I have not experienced, that I've had to work through first time with them.
Hmm.
But we've talked about it, we've worked through it, and we're both stronger on the backside because of it.
Hmm. So, in the military, have um leaders like done the same thing as has done the same thing for you that you've done for your people that were below you, and how so?
So the the way I modeled my leadership was by watching how my leaders were coming up in the military. I've seen good leaders, I've seen bad leaders, I've seen amazing leaders, I've seen absolutely toxic leaders, and there's strengths and weaknesses of every single one. And if you are willing to learn and you want to lead the best of your ability, you see how they're doing it,
Hmm.
understand how they're doing it, and figure out a teaching method of your own.
Hmm.
Because my leadership, I don't like to yell at my support. I don't. If I
Hmm.
have to, I will, but I prefer to talk to them man to man because that's what they are. They're
Hmm.
men.
Hmm.
They all signed up to do the same thing.
Hmm.
I can't treat you guys like children just from the get go because that's what some other people,
Hmm.
not me. I give you the benefit of the doubt. I treat you like a man, and if you mess it up, then I treat you like a kid. I
Hmm.
hold your hand. I make sure you have to check in. You always will have somebody with you, and it's all about being a flexible leader and understanding how people need specific ways of men.
Hmm. So have you? Were there? Were so? How many people? What's the percentage of people that were under you that were treated like men or versus treated like children?
So I've been able to treat almost every single one of my soldiers as men because when I first get them, I give them my expectations of them and what I expect from them every day. And
Hmm.
if they fail on that, then it gets to the point where I can't trust them and I have to treat them like children. And I don't like being treated like a child. I hate it.
Hmm.
I hate having my hand held, somebody always watching over me.
Hmm.
Let me do my stuff. And y- in my eyes, if you're a subordinate of me and that starts happening, there's a reason it's happened.
Hmm.
If you're doing the wrong things constantly, I'm going to start micromanaging you, and I'm sure you won't like it.
Hmm.
So if you can prove that you have fixed yourself, you are an adult, and you can continue to act like an adult, I'll back off. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt again until you mess up.
Hmm. Hmm. So, was there any times where someone was treated like a kid, but they really wanted to grow and they really wanted to become like treated like like really wanted to grow and become better?
Yeah, I've had one like that where he came to me and he was fresh out of basic training. You could tell that this guy was was sheltered. Like his parents didn't do a lot of stuff. He didn't have a lot of social skills. So he messed up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he got micromanaged. He had all this extra stuff that he saw that his teammates weren't doing. And he came to me one day and was, asked me, what can I do to be treated like everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I sat him down. I talked to him about it. I explained exactly what I would expect of him. And I told him he could always come to me if with questions. That's what I tell all of my support. Come to me if you have any question for anything. And he took it to heart. He saw that I genuinely cared
Mm-hmm.
because I genuinely care for my subordinates, because if we ever go to a combat zone and they die because of something that I failed to teach them, it'll hit hard, a lot harder than if they died and I know that I did everything I could in my power to prevent it, but it
Right.
happened. So showed him what he needed to do. He did it. He learned. He saw that as long as he continued to do the correct thing, acted like it, he learned the social skills that he needed to
Mm-hmm.
be able to be treated like an adult. He And it only took a couple of months. He turned around real quick,
Hmm.
and now he's one of my now he's so I'm a squad leader. Now he's one of my team leaders.
Hmm.
So it's a proven fact that it's two-way street. You help somebody, they'll help you. You give them respect, they'll give you respect. You don't treat them like a child constantly. You show them that you trust them in their judgment, and they'll trust you in your judgment.
Right. And it also shows that if you really wanted something, you'll get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's good or bad. Whatever's on your mind, You want to go, this talks about like all these different people like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or different people, you know. How did they get up to become millionaires? They wanted to do. They had a mindset to
Exactly.
go after what they wanted. Most of these millionaires, if you look at their stories like that, they actually um, they actually started their businesses in um, in recessions,
Yeah.
not during the ups, during the downs. So that's pretty amazing. Um, what annoys me are people who try to micromanage when someone is already doing their job. Hmm. Have you ever had someone like that?
Yeah, you see it a lot in the military. You got people who don't understand the proper way to lead, so they constantly micromanage, give you a task, you start doing the task, and then they come down, tell you, no, you're wrong, do it this way, when you already know how to do it. You've done it times before. It it doesn't sit well with the people around you, and you
Mm.
see that somebody is overstepping their boundaries, micromanaging to the point where it's hindering work.
Right. Hmm. Well, I've never. I don't think I've ever had a micromanager or anything. But hmm. Do you? So I think this has been a very good stream, and so got awesome stream. Do you think it's time to end?
Well, let's see, what time is it? It's 9:13 for me. I have to be up at 5 for work. So, as much as I enjoy this is great. We'll definitely do this. Uh,
Your mic
what
was
I
coming
think.
in and out. Yeah.
So it's late for me. I
Mhm.
gotta get up at 5 for
Mhm.
work. Uh, as much as I would love to keep going, we'll have to end here.
Mhm.
We'll definitely have to find another time to do this again. And with that, I'll put it out on my social media stuff, my community, so that way we can have more interactions.
Yeah.
And it's been good. I feel that this has helped a lot for me, at least personally, because just talking, it's a good release.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's always, a good thing to be able to like talk and be able to talk about a lot of different topics. Being able to like always being, one of the things that I started doing stuff like this, because I wanted to be able to impact people, being able to help their lives, being able to change their lives, and being able to say, give them a, whoa, aha moment, aha. So, wow, this thing, I want to be able to improve my life. I want to be able to change my life and to do it better. So, yeah, this was like a really good stream that happened today. And just being able to learn a lot about your life, about the military, and different things. It's like I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know about you, and it's just like that's awesome. Being able to learn about all the struggles that you've gone through life, and being able to just learn like you got through them, of course. So, and, that's just awesome. So, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I don't think my life is very interesting. I think I'm a regular guy, but it's, you know, different people have different views of the world. And like you said, you probably don't have a lot of experience with the military and not a knowledge about it. So being able to talk to somebody who's in the military and has been and has seen the experiences, being able to pick the brain and understanding and learning things is always a good thing.
Hmm.
It's always good to learn more experiences, more world knowledge, more real world experience. It's it's never not a good thing to want to understand some.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I don't hardly know anything about self defense. I can't, don't know how to. I've really never shot a real gun before, like with a real bullets. So like, well, all that stuff, you probably did all that, you know.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, I keep my one of my mags for the gun that I carry every day.
Oh wow,
It just sits on my desk
huh?
because it it gives me a peace of mind knowing that I have a gun, a firearm on my desk that I reach in sec
Hmm.
if something were to happen.
Hmm.
Gives me a peace of mind because I know we said we were going to end, but we'll go with one more here because being an infantry soldier in the military, you deploy, and during a deployment, you are always in constant contact with your primary weapon.
Hmm.
Constant contact. You never leave it anywhere. You never let it out of your.
Hmm.
So you start to get to this mindset where it's your sense of you have that you're safe,
Hmm.
and having that be like that for 7 to 9 to 12 15 months, and then you come back and you turn the gun and back into the military. You're like, hey, they're like, hey, cool, still assigned to you, but we're holding on to it. You take it.
Hmm.
The first couple of weeks, it's hard because you're so used to having that security of a gun, of a firearm, of a rifle
Mm.
in arm's reach at all time. It it leaves you a little hollow,
Hmm.
weird, because I got back and I had a couple of nights where I would wake up and I'd start looking for my rifle
Hmm.
because that it was my sense of security,
Hmm.
how I felt secure.
Hmm.
And with that, I still get that feeling knowing that I have a firearm near me.
Hmm.
It keeps me, makes me understand that I am prepared to have my safety checked. I know I'm safe. I know I can keep my family safe.
Hmm.
And it's just like how it is overseas. You know you can keep yourself safe. You know you can battle. But
Hmm. Hmm. Is that why like a lot of people have like guns in their houses like that used to be in the military or something?
I believe, yeah, I believe so.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, on that note, I don't know. Get a gun? No, I'm joking. So, yeah. Well, this was great. Being able to talk with you. Always being able to have like people. That are in your life that are being able to help motivate you. Oh, you found some people that like really help you. Be able to help you in different areas of life. That's always really good. Being able to have hard situations to just push your life and be like, hey, I'm gonna push through this situation. You know, I'm gonna get through this. That's awesome. So,
Yep.
all right. So I yep. So I guess we're gonna be ending the stream now, and it was great talking tonight. You tonight, Shadow.
Yep.
Go check out his stream. What is it? Twitch.tv. What's your handle?
I'll just pull it, grab it real quick.
Can
It's yep. So it's twitch.tv/ULZx Shadow.
you can put it into the chat if you want. But yeah, check out his channel. He's got some really cool stuff. Really streams about like the Midwest RP stuff. If you want to see what Midwest RP is all about, sooner rather than waiting a little bit to see it on this channel, then go check out his channel. Also, he's got some crazy. If you want to hear him yell and so like check out his Call of Duty channel, or
Yep.
no videos or streams and stuff like that. So yeah, so
Yep. I do a lot of variety stuff on my. Not just role play. There's military stuff in there. I
mm,
play Arma 3, which is a mil sim stuff. So it's something for everybody.
hmm, very good. All right. Well, and then I also do some mystery and investigation games, which will on my stream. So that's what I like doing too. Um, But yeah, I guess this ends it today, and just thank you so much for being on the stream, and we will talk to you guys all later. All right. So thank you all. See ya.
Talking? Yes? No?